So, what are these
Yeah.
strengths and weaknesses, and, are they
And she,
just character traits?
yeah, she was talking about the paradox of choice. I think there was the difference between the maximizers and the satisfiers. And she was saying that the
Yes.
maximizers have FOMO and they're constantly second guessing themselves because they want to constantly make sure that they're making the right decision. So they're checking all their choices. They're always looking what else is out there. They're comparing everything to everyone. And they're not just at some point saying, okay, this is enough and I'm satisfied with this. And nothing is ever good enough. Like there's always more to have, and there's always more to satisfy. And that's a problem with a lot of times seeking rushes, is the more you seek rushes, the harder it is to satisfy you. And then eventually no one will be able to satisfy you. And the point that you were saying, you and JT, I mean, like Ev and I were talking about this also, what we talk about this all the time, where, you know, we had this thing where I got upset. I was not really upset, but I was like bummed out that he didn't bring a bottle of wine. And I really was to like sit and have wine frustration out on him. But he was, and that's annoying for him. And in the moment he wants to say something about it, but he knew that I wasn't in the state of mind to actually listen, and he knew that I needed a moment. So he stayed quiet. He allowed me to relax and calm down. And in the end, I came to him. I felt really bad. I felt stupid, and I apologized. And where I lack in sometimes, you know, getting over myself, maybe when I've had a really rough day, then he makes up for it by being his calm, patient
Hmm.
self. We each compliment and give each other what we're missing. So, and I think also they were talking about that one person can't be everything for you. And it used to be that you had different people who satisfy different needs in your life. And now
Yeah.
we expect a partner to satisfy all our needs, and we expect them to be everything. And there's no way anyone could withstand that and reach that kind of ridiculous standard. So I hope that somehow made sense.
It completely made sense. You gave an example about Zev and your relationship, about how you sometimes overreact, and God knows I sometimes overreact. But yeah, not one
Yeah.
person can be everything. And how people today are feeling so lonely compared to where they were a few years ago. And I was kind of reflecting on it, of just, I have a couple, yeah, two or three like long distance friends. And she was saying there's a difference between, like, sending a Snapchat and being in the room with someone. And I was just thinking about you and my friend who's in Thailand, and like a friend who's in America. And I was like, no, these friends, like when I spend time with you, with Kirsty or with Linda, I feel like I'm in the same room as them. Like, honestly, genuinely,
Yeah.
like, this isn't, this isn't me sending a text and then just like getting a text back a few days later. Like, we spend really quality time together, and so do these other women and I do. So I like, they are the exceptions. Like, you three are the exceptions to these online relationships. But the rest of my online relationships, yeah, I don't feel good about them at all. Some of them fizzle out just because, we don't see each other. Sometimes because of the distance, and sometimes it's because, you know, they and I don't make the effort to see each other, because I spend time with JT, and I want to spend time with my family, and I have other friends I want to spend time with. And I'm not going to apologize for that, and nor should they, because they are in the same situation. But therefore, these friendships, I'm not seeing them as much. And sometimes, she was saying about spending time online, etc. And yeah, sometimes I catch myself swiping a lot, and I'm like, I could have been on the phone with my grandmother. I could have been, you
Hmm.
know, calling a friend. I could have been outside for a walk. No, I just scrolled for half an hour. Half an hour I could have been spending
Yeah.
connecting with somebody else, and I didn't. And which is kind of, looping back to what I was saying, of just like, I'm thinking of kind of changing everything because of falling into these traps of just like, I want to help people be happy and be in love. And I'm not saying I am happy and in love, but I do feel myself disconnecting a lot. And I'm just like, well, yeah, the times where I spend half an hour on Instagram, I could have been on the phone to somebody else. just talking and connecting, and is what we're lacking today. And so other people like me are expecting their partners to fulfill everything, the deep conversations, the watching a film, the having a glass of wine, having going to the gym, the all of these things that he's only human. He can't do all of these things with me, and I can't do all of these things with him. Like, he plays with, toys in the forest like every other Sunday. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, he can do that with his own friends.
Yeah, and I think it's very important that each person has their own interests and their own world separate from the relationship, not only for themselves and to maintain a relationship with themselves and with other people in their life, but also so they can not put so much pressure on the relationship, because a relationship that's expected to fulfill everything for at least one of the people in it is a relationship that's going to crumble and suffocate very quickly. And I think an important an important well so, something that's important for a relationship and to maintain a relationship in a healthy manner is to spend time separately, not only to do other things, but also to just give each other space, to just give each other time and the ability to do whatever they want without having to report on everything, or without having to do everything with you, or without having to just constantly cater to your needs or whatever
Yeah.
it is, you know?
Yeah,
And I think it also, they were talking about how, you know, a relationship, you expect someone to be exactly like you. And so you're both bringing like the same thing to the table. And if you're expecting them to be everything for you, then you're expecting them to be the same as you and to want the same things. But then there's certain things that you can't bring, and there's no one else to bring to the table because you're both the exact same. And yes, it's important to have similar values, similar morals, similar, ways of looking at life and wanting the same type of lifestyle. But it's also important to have your own separate being, you know what I mean? To have your
yeah,
own
yeah, yeah.
different kind of life and bring something else and different to the table. So as I was saying before, like with Zev, that we each complete each other in spaces where we're lacking, or we each help each other grow where we can and where we have more to give.
Yeah, completely. 100%. And you know, I feel it's even better to be with somebody who's not 100% similar to you, because then you just flourish into this different person. And so JT, I think, JT and I were still a young couple, and so are you and Zev. But I'll take my parents as an example. My mum hates the mountains and loves the sea, and my dad is like obsessed with badminton. And what that has led to is they live in the mountains but own a home by the seaside.
Hmm.
And because he's in love with badminton, she kind of didn't want to play it, but she was happy to become an umpire, and so has traveled the world thanks to that. And
Amazing.
guaranteed that if she hadn't met him, she would have never become an umpire, and therefore not traveled the world umpiring badminton without him. They did a lot of stuff together, but then it was without him. And that's just one of the many examples of how their differences kind of made each other grow. And same with JT. And like, JT is about to go to England for the first time in July, and he would, that's thanks to me, because we have such different backgrounds. And yeah, I was, anyway, yeah, being different and kind of adapting your expectations, and reflecting on these things. These are all, I think, we live in a fascinating world.
Fascinating, a bit scary, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm about to wrap up the podcast. We had a couple of comments on recent posts, which we can talk about next week, aka
Yeah.
in 5 minutes. Yes. So we'll respond to some of the stuff that came up that was very interesting. But tell us what you guys thought about, if you listen to the Lori Gottlieb and Steven Bartlett podcast, you know, what are your expectations and everything on Instagram, YouTube,
And
Spotify.
YouTube, yeah. We also have a TikTok, but we never actually use it.
Oh yeah, we just blocked the name. I think TikTok
Yeah.
got banned in France. I need to look into that. I heard
Well,
about a ban.
I think it's getting banned in America as well. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I
there's
don't
something
use
going on.
TikTok anyway anymore, so.
No, nor do I.
But um yeah, let us know what are your icks in dating, and if you think a man should pay on the first date, and how flexible are you when you're dating, or are you just rigid?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
Bye.
bye.